Do It TV subscribers, viewers, and new watchers. Welcome to the channel. Today we're doing another product video. We're gonna throw this one in the product video category of our playlist. We wanted to do something a little bit different today, so we're doing a project around the house which involves a complete install of a gate and an automatic gate opener, which you can see back here. That's what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be using the Ghost brand for Ghost Controls, which is a automatic gate opening system. You can buy different models of kits. As you can see, this main box is the gate opener itself, and then it comes with different things depending on what you want to do. I have like an automatic lock that I'll install on this system so it'll lock the gate. Extra battery, because the box that comes with this has a dual battery box. It only comes with one battery, however, so we bought the extra one. Solar panel system, which will mount on the wood pole, and that'll actually charge the batteries so we don't have to run AC power to this. We did a keypad here. We'll do a 4x4 pole with this pedestal arm, and then the keypad that will go on the pedestal arm. That'll be really nice. Brought some extra remotes for wife, kids, whoever has vehicles that'll be going in and out of the gate. And of course the mounting bracket, because we're using a tube gate. This kit comes with a square gate clamp. However, we have the tube gate, so we bought the extra tube gate clamps, so that'll help us to get through that. We'll take a look at some other stuff we're going to be using for our install that'll kind of help you guys to get an idea of what you want to use if you're doing a custom install of your own. It just depends on your setup, your gates, and how you want it. We're actually not going to just be mounting the control box and the battery box that come in this to a pole and then just mounting the wires all zip tied to the pole all messy. We're actually going to put in some junction boxes today. And this is probably going to be a several day video. So what we'll do is we'll, each segment we'll do whatever we're doing that day, and then we'll of course compress it and edit it into one video for you guys so you can see it all. But let's go take a look over here. We'll show you some of the ideas of products we're using. What I got, and it looks like a lot, guys, this stuff isn't necessary. What comes in that gate kit is justifiable enough. You just need some wood poles and some cement in your gate, of course. However, I want to do this nicely. I don't want the system to get wrecked by the weather and the sun prematurely, so I'm going to add some junction boxes here, and I'm going to put some conduit. If you look on the ground down there, you can see the steel conduit pipes, so we'll be using the bender there to bend those. And then we've got some rain sealed fittings, compression fittings that kind of go onto the end of your conduit, and we'll get them into that junction box. I've also got some of this flex tubing that we'll use to cover some of the little bits of wires that'll go from the flex box to the gate opener. And then I've got some classic die-cast connectors for the conduit, just in case I need to do something that I don't have available in these rain-tight compression fittings. But I also got some longer drill bits to drill through the 4x4s and the 6x6s out there that'll require these longer bolts. Got a 3/4 inch drill bit to drill the holes in the box, because these particular junction boxes unfortunately don't have the pop outs, but that's cool. I'll run my pipe up to where I think I'm going to attach it into the box, and then I can just trace around the pipe and then drill a hole and add my connectors into that. I've got some caps for my style. I'm using 6x6s and 4x4s. The 6x6s will be used for the gate. This, however, the caps for the 6x6s, they come with 4x4 adapters, so you can use them on either or. These are from Walmart, $4 a piece, but they have solar powered lights on them, so that'll give the 4x4s or 6x6s some decoration and lighting. Kind of makes them look nice, and it preserves the posts, because the water gets into the top of these posts when it rains, and that's what kind of wears them down faster, even though they're treated. I am going to add a little cheap Harbor Freight wireless doorbell. I'm going to paint it black, make it look nice to match the keypad. That way, if I don't know someone's out there, they can ring the doorbell. I can see who's out there and come out. I have a surveillance system here at the house, so I can just jump on my surveillance system. Make sure you have some clamps. These kind of clamps right here that you actually pull away, and then you just sit there and pull the trigger. You're going to need that to hold the little brackets onto the wood posts for your gate opening arm. What we'll do is we'll go outside and show you our area, what we're working with, and then some of the stuff we're using out there, and then we'll get started on the actual install. We already got one of the posts put in, so we can start getting the project moving a little faster, but that doesn't take a lot of rocket science to do that, so you're just basically level your post or poles or whatever you're going to use for your install kit. Okay guys, so we're outside where we're going to be doing the gate install along with the electric gate opener. As you can see here, I have an existing 16-foot gate. It's an old one. It's kind of faded. If you look down here at the bottom even, you can see that the weld just broke off. And this gate's getting thin and worn, so I'm not going to try to re-weld it. I've done that once and it lasted for a while, but then it ended up having issues. So what we're going to do next is we want to get this gate right here, which is the new 16-foot gate. mounted to this 6x6 post that we buried in the cement yesterday, so it would be ready for today's install. What I'm doing, instead of putting them both in right away and then installing the gate, is I'm gonna hang the gate because it's obviously gonna freestand off of this one post, and then I'll have the hole over here available so I can line up my second post and get it just perfect to where I want it for my gate locking latch, so the spacing's correct. You can just do that with a tape measure, but I'd rather see it. Kind of helps me to make sure I'm right on the money with it. I'm also going to add the junction box post, which is this 4x4. This one is going to come right next to this main post for the gate opener, right about here. And then I'll have a nice board on it, and that's where I'll mount my junction boxes, and then I'll run my metal conduit over to the gate opener, and then I'll have my light caps, and then this one will actually be the same height as this, and I'll have some caps to put on that as well to keep the rain from getting up here and ruining these posts prematurely. And then we're going to put one more of these posts right outside the gate, and that's where the actual pedestal will be mounted, and the keypad. And we'll probably use a metal pole for that one, but we're using wood for the actual gate and control box. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some preparation today, guys. We've got to get these posts in the ground, and then we've also got to get the mesh that I brought that's going to go over this gate. We're going to tack weld it on because I have dogs and I don't want them getting through, or other animals coming inside the property. So we'll do that. It's mostly going to be preparation for this first part of the video. And after we get everything in the ground, all the poles, and get the gate with the mesh wired up and welded, we'll go ahead and start the second part of the video. It's all going to be one video, but the second half of the video will be the final gate opening kit installation. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get this thing rolling, and we'll get back to you shortly. All right, guys. So we're getting the preparations finished up here. As you can see, I have this screen right here that I'm getting that welded onto the gate completely. That way it looks nice. Got my boy over here finishing up the pole for the keypad. That'll be a nice metal pole, actually. Put a cap on that. Just using our little portable welder. But yeah, we got this screen here. Got the gate at Lowe's. Screen didn't come from Lowe's. I got that elsewhere. Just using a little cheap Harbor Freight welder for this rig, and a little Predator inverter, which makes a great little welding setup to just do some small tacks like this fence onto the gate. We're just tacking it and clamping it down a little bit at a time. So yeah, we'll finish up here and then we'll start getting the gate mounted up. Be good to go. Okay guys, so we got some of the preparations done. We painted the keypad pole, and we also got the mesh wiring welded to the gate, as you can see. Went ahead and got it lined up and tack welded. I'll save the touch-up paint for last once I get this gate mounted. If you look at this post right here, it's a 6x6 by 8 foot, and I've got 6 feet, so I've got a little bit over 2 feet in the ground. You want at least 2 to 3 feet in the ground for a 16-foot tube gate, depending on how heavy it is. If you have a real heavy gate, then you're going to want probably a little bit further into the ground, and then a bigger diameter and width of cement. The key is to go 4 inches out on either side of this post in the ground with your cement. Dig your hole 4 inches in diameter around this. That should be enough cement if you come all the way up with it. We used about 4 bags for this post. So this is how you're going to measure this. I'll give you a quick rundown. So we put our hardware onto this gate. We took the hardware that was on this gate off because it didn't fit. The actual bolts that come with this gate were not long enough to go through a 6x6 post. We wanted this kit. We picked it up at the Tractor Supply store. If you've heard of that store and you have it, you can get those there, or probably at another company that has bolts that can go through long enough. So when you adjust these nuts, you can pull these bolts in and out to adjust the levelness of the gate, and that's the whole idea, is to level your gate. So we got these in to where we wanted, and the way that you do this is, I want my gate 4 inches off the ground to match the previous gate. That was tall enough. So you measure from the bottom of your pipe to the bottom of your bracket right there, your clamp. That's 5.5 inches. So you have 5.5 inches there, and then you want to add how many inches off the ground you want your post, which is a total of 5.5 plus 4 is 9.5. So then what I did is I came from the ground 9.5 inches up, right here to this first bolt, and that's where my first bolt went. Then what you do is you measure from the bottom here up to the top of the other one, up here, 37.5 inches to this side, from top of this to the bottom. 37.5 inches is where you're going to go from the first bolt up to here, and that's right there at 37.5, as you can see from the first bolt. And that will line up your bolts into the post correctly so you can put your gate on. The other thing is you can just undo this first bolt and you can adjust that up and down if you need to get this fit up right. So we're going to go ahead and try to get this fit onto here, and then we'll get the gate leveled, and then from there we'll get some of the other posts put in for the keypad and for the control box area, and at that point we'll be able to do the install of the gate opener. Okay guys, so we have the gate mounted. All we did is we put these 2 bolts all the way through the 6x6 center. I already showed you guys earlier how to take your measurements in order to estimate. You can see the gate is off the ground a little bit there. So that's where we want it. The idea here though is to loosen this top clamp, and that's the one you can slide up or down in order to get this. You'll slide it down, put it on your first bolt here, and then slide it up. You'll slide it over and then slide that up and tighten this. And that'll get it on there like that. That's pretty much how you do it. It's self-explanatory. Then you want to take your level and get a gate level. If you look close, you can see that my gate's kind of off a little bit. If you look there, I'm going to need to raise it up a little bit on the top bolt. It's almost level, but not quite. So basically what you do to level your gate that direction is you basically loosen this top bolt a little bit, and then you're going to come back here and tighten this other side at the same time, and that'll basically lift the gate up as so. So that's what the purpose of having these bolts that go completely through your whole 6x6 is for, is to be able to level your gate. You can, it's hard to see with a naked eye, but I can see the gate popping up as we're looking at it. So take another level here. Another click, guys, which I'll show you just so you can see we're working. It's almost there. Look at that. Another spin or 2 there and we'll be good. If you end up spinning in, it locks tight, and loosen this side again just a little bit more. Gives you just enough to spin it over here tight again and pick up that little bit of slack. I'm gonna say right about there, it's probably going to be level. Excuse me for a second, I gotta tie my shoe. I don't want to trip and fall. All right, let's take another level measurement here and let's see where this gate is at. Oh, we went up a little too much now, guys. See, that's the glory about this, is if you go up too much, you can just reverse it. Just reverse it a couple spins and then check it a little bit at a time. It's a good lesson for people. We're almost there. Need to lay it down just a little bit more. There we go, guys. It's pretty much level. I mean, it's in both the lines. I'm gonna call that level. And you can stand back and look at it. You can see I have a double gate going on right now. I'm gonna get rid of the other gate. And if you look over here to your right, to the fence we just put up, we're gonna kind of tie it all into this fence. If you look over this way on the other side of the property, in the background over there, you can see we've done another fence on that side, all metal panel fencing, 6 foot tall. So we're working on the yard, but yeah, so we figured why not put this gate. So as you can see, that part of the gate is level. The last direction you want to make sure that the gate is level is by putting this on the side here, just like this. And we're going to look at that. Now you see how that's off level? So what we want to do is we want to actually move this. Tighten this first since we got this level. So what you do is first tighten this up. Snug it up. Snug up the other side. And that basically will lock that in place so it doesn't unloosen. Now that levelness is done. The idea is to loosen this bolt right here. If you need to come out like that, see how I was able to move that gate a little bit? Let's check it again. Almost. Needs to come out a little bit more. Like that. Oops, let me get that shut there. There it is, guys. See how that's level now? So you're doing the top and the side. You want to check it all. You can check it all the way down. Level. Actually, a little bit more on that side. When you're doing this and you get it real level, basically that enables you to have your gate moving smoothly when it's shutting with the garage or the electric gate opener. I'm going to tighten this up now. I've gotten it where I want it. I don't want it to spin anymore unlevel. So there it is. Tighten that one. Tighten these two bolts. Now I'm going to make sure my very bottom ones are tightened as well, and then that's it for leveling the gate. Your gate's on, and basically you're good to go. That's it. So that gets the gate, and I'll try opening it and see what it does. And then looking at the ground, it gives me enough clearance with my gravel, and this is going to actually come all the way over to about right there, which I know it looks a little funky when it's opening that far, but it just gives clearance. If you have a camper or a trailer with wide items coming off of your driveway, you have that much more space to come out with your items. So there it is. This metal edging will be completely in the ground again, so I won't even touch the bottom of that gate when it's all said and done. And once I get it to the level spot, like right about there, I think I'll put like a little peg in the ground here just to catch the gate once I set the parameters. So with that being said, we're going to call it a day, guys. We're losing daylight here. We're going to go ahead and get our posts in the ground, which isn't going to be a big deal if you don't see that, because you know you're going to do your own post wherever you're doing your own project. And that way we can continue to start installing the electric gate opening kit itself. Alright guys, so it's the next day, and I told you guys that we were going to get some preparation things done in order to get this project rolling, to get the gate operator attached to the gate and in functionality. So what we did is, like I showed you yesterday, we went ahead and got this wire. I'm just going to do a quick recap because we added a couple things here for the final preparation, but we got this mesh welded onto the gate. We got the gate mounted onto our pole right here. Got the hardware, got the gate level. We got the second post put in over here. This is the one that's going to actually have the zombie locking mechanism on it to lock the gate in place. This second gate is going to come away, and we're going to get rid of that later after we're done getting this one tied in. So I put a control panel post up right here, and this is going to have my junction boxes on it, and that's where we'll run our wiring over from here to the gate, just to give it a clean installation, and that'll double protect the power box and the battery box that comes with the Ghost kit. It couldn't hurt to put it inside of another junction box and keep it from baking in the sun and from horrendous weather conditions such as freezing weather and so on. So if you look back on this way, you can come up here. I got another post back here, which we added last night too as well, and that's going to be for the keypad. I'll put the pedestal arm onto this post and then add the keypad to that. So as you can see, we're in a working process. We're getting everything done. We're almost done with this. Now that we got all the final preparation started, what we're going to do is get into the next clip, and that's going to be us mounting the junction boxes and starting to get some of the conduit ran. Okay guys, so we've got the architectural kits, the Ghost kit. This is the single arm, it's not the dual arm because I only have one gate. So model is the DTP1. So if you're looking for this is at Lowe's for around $560, $570. Not to mention some of the other stuff you'll have to get for it. Let me go ahead and show you real quick what's in this box. We're opening this for the first time here, so let's go with the control box, which is easy enough. You guys have seen the control box. That's where the wires are all going to go into. So it comes with a control box ready to go in this kit. You also get a battery pack. This is the battery pack, and what I did is I opened it ahead of time to see what would actually come in this battery, because some people are probably wondering if they have to buy a dual battery box separate from the kit to be able to have two batteries instead of the single battery that comes with it. However, this particular kit comes with the dual battery slots and the dual battery connections. So all you want to do is buy an extra battery. Don't buy the extra battery box. That's going to cost another $120, because all you need to do is get a battery. and then you can have 2 batteries instead of 1, which will make it nice for the installation. It'll also keep the juice powered, so if you're cycling through your gate openings more than others do, you'll have enough juice to keep your gates going. Does come with an AC adapter plug. You guys can see it's just a regular plug. If you're going to run AC power or if you're going to run solar, depending on what you guys are going to do. I'm running the solar kit part of this because I want to have it just self-contained. I don't want to have to be out here with cables and running conduit to my house. Comes with an extra remote. I brought several extra remotes, guys. Remember, it comes with 1 remote, so if you have 3 vehicles at your house going through your gates every day, family, you're going to need to get extra remotes. So that's a consideration to take. Comes with all the bolts and the hardware for all the brackets in the gate, so don't need to worry about that. You do want to make sure you have the right size drill bits to drill the holes through these posts to match those bolts. You don't want to drill the holes on the bolts too big and then the bolts are loose in there with play. This is going to be the brackets. Comes with the mounting bracket that's going to mount right here to our post. And also this particular kit comes with the 2 arms. The only thing about this kit, guys, and I'll let you know right ahead of time, is if you have a tube gate like this red one, you're going to need to get the other 2 round tube gate clamps that come with these kits sold separately. Comes in a pack of 2 of them, so that way you can connect your control arm to the tube gate. If you have a square gate, then it comes with this little bracket which you'll use to put on the square gate. But since we're not using the square gate, this is the tube gate clamps that go on to that particular setup that we're using for my tube gate. So if you don't have that, get that with the kit. Sold separately, so once again, make sure that you don't forget that when you're at the store. So then again, we have the arm, which is the final thing here. Comes nice and packed. Of course, you have your direction panel or pamphlets. Has all your stickers and instructions, so that's important. Don't lose those right away. I'll go ahead and set this up here, out of the way. So here it is, guys. Comes packed nicely. And that's just the arm. Simple as that. Nothing to it. And that's what comes in the kit. So as we do the video, I'll be showing you guys some other accessories and stuff that I brought to utilize in my setup, because of course I'm adding some different things that may be different from you guys. You guys may just take these boxes right here and mount them straight to your post and just tie the wires off. That's a traditional way that this is built to do. That's why it comes with its own rainproof boxes. But like I said, I'm going to be using our boxes, the junction boxes, to go ahead and give this double protection. So we'll come back to this in a moment when we start getting our arm mounted. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is get this first bracket put together. So you can see there's like a little buffer piece of plastic that goes in the center of this, and that's how the first bracket part of it is going to be assembled with that 1 bolt. Don't tighten the bolt though, you're just going to kind of leave it loose till you get everything mounted onto the post here. Now the way you want to do this is you want to mount the arm to the center of the gate. So you're going to choose one of these. I'm going to choose this one, that's more center than anything. And then you're going to run this basic bracket directly over from the center post that you're going to connect the arm to. So the best way to do that is you just take a level that's like this. You're going to put it right into the center of this post. Make sure that your bubble's level, and then it'll come right over here to this post. I'm going to mark it with a pencil, and that's where I'm going to stick my bracket now. So what I'll do is I'll take the bracket next, and then I'll stick it up here. You want this line to be kind of in the center down there, as you can see, about right like so. And then what we'll do is we'll just mark all this. And actually, before I get too carried away, let me put the torpedo level on it, guys, just to make sure that the bracket's even going to be completely level. You don't want the bracket to be unlevel either. So there it is. So kind of just do your holes there while it's level, and color them in a little bit. There we go. So these 4 holes are where we're going to drill the bit holes for the bolts that'll hold the bracket on. So what I'll do is I'll get that ready next. Just make sure, guys, whatever bits you're using matches the width of the bolt. So you don't want to use a bit such as this that ends up being a lot wider than the actual width of the bolt, because then the bolt has room and has play. This is the one that goes to this, which is a 1/2 inch. So you're going to want a 1/2 inch. 3/8 is a little bit too small to use to make the holes for these 1/2 inch bolts. So when you guys are drilling these holes out, you know, make sure you're level. You don't want to be up like this or like this. Kind of, if you have to, get down on one knee even, and then just kind of more or less eyeball that and get it level to start. I'm going to just go ahead and start each one just a little bit here. This one's right at a knot, so hopefully this knot will, you kind of just want to eyeball it. The bracket area is kind of nice because it gives you a wide enough slot to be able to not have to be perfect with your bolt holes. And just go ahead and pull that out and do one more, kind of more or less straight with the other hole above it. Alright, so now we're going to go all the way through each hole. I would recommend drilling it into that black and then pulling it out. That gets some of the dust out of the hole, because it makes it more difficult to get through these bigger poles like this with something that has full of sawdust and packed. So I'm going to continue with this one. All I was saying is just get that first thing out, blow it out. Don't put your mouth right up to it. That's pressure treated. You don't want that stuff in your mouth. But now we can go back in. And there we are. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these 4 done, and then we'll come back and show you guys the next step. Okay guys, so we got the holes drilled. We got the bracket on here. We're gonna go ahead and just get these tightened up. When you're pushing them through, sometimes they'll go by hand, more or less like that one, but some of these won't because the hole is kind of tight. So you can just take your impact and kind of drill them in. See how easy that went? And you don't have to use much force. They really just kind of hold your bracket up. And then on the back, we'll put the other nut and washer, just like so. And then that'll hold that in place. I'll go ahead and tighten this up, guys, and then we're going to put the other little spacer inside the middle of this, and then we'll go ahead and set the arm on the bracket. Okay guys, so I put the second separator, it's like a little spacer that you put in here. Got these bolts, went ahead and put the nuts and the washers on it, got this bracket secured. You want your gate to be open straight with the post pretty much. At that point, you want to measure from the actual center bar here on your gate to the actual brackets right here. If you get at least 4 inches clearance or more, that's where you want to be. If not, you'll have to take this first bolt out and move these 2 little brackets back to the next hole till you get that 4-inch clearance. Right now we're sitting at the 4-inch clearance, so I don't got to do nothing to adjust that. Okay guys, so we're going to take the arm and go ahead and mount it onto the bracket. Takes the longer of the pins. It has a little bushing, and then the cotter pin. That bushing is going to go in between here on the bottom, so that way the weight of this machine can sit there and pivot on that little bushing and spin easier. So basically, let me just drop this cable, go ahead and stick this right here. So that's where you want that bushing. You're going to take this, stick it through there, and then through that bushing down through the hole. Then you're just going to take your cotter pin and stick it right through the bottom, and that's it. And then that sits on there just kind of like that, freestanding. I'll take this, if it was long enough, this cable here, and I'll go ahead and just hang it off to the side for now. And that gets the first part done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shut this gate here kind of up to it, to the point of where it's got the 4 inches. And that's where this bracket is going to sit on here next. So like I said, they give you a bracket for square gates, but since we're using the tube gates, we're going to use our own little brackets. I'm going to go ahead and get this hardware mounted together. I've got to take these 2 and mount it onto here, Then we can stick it right on this and then connect it to the gate like that. We're gonna go ahead and shut this gate now until we get it to right where we wanted it adjusted. And that's right there. As you can see, the gate's now straight with the pole, just about. And that's basically what we want. If I can get it through a little bit. I gotta get this bushing in here too. That's a little bit. And just like that. So now the gate's on there and we've gotten the arm installed and we've got the wire just sitting here ready to go. So that was the biggest thing, and you guys can see how easy this is. It's basically just getting your pole on the ground, getting your gate on and leveled, getting your first bracket on, you mount it there, swing out the arm to the part of your gate where you're going to put these two clamps, put them on, tighten it, and that's the first part of this installation as far as the electric opener goes. So now we're going to start working on our junction boxes and getting the conduit ran so we can get the power supply box and the battery box all put up and get this guy working. Okay guys, so we're getting ahead here. We've got the two junction boxes put up. If you want to come in a little bit closer here, you can see that what we did is we kind of straddled these two boxes from each other. And the reason being is I don't want to have to make a lot of offset bends on my conduit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a piece of conduit up into here. It's going to come down and come right on over to that gate. But as you can see, we're using these junction boxes, and I've got this mounted in here only by this bolt here. I didn't put the 4 bolts in because if you mount the 4 bolts in, you're going to have to continue to do your wires, but what you won't be able to do is slide your lid on when you're done, because it slides on these grooves like this. It doesn't go on the front like that. So what you do is you get all your wiring put in, take this lag bolt off, face it this way, slide it, put it back on, put your lag bolt in. That'll keep it with the lid on. So just remember that when you're doing your install. If you get too far ahead of yourself, you're going to find yourself not being able to put that lid on this part, and you'll just have to use the main lid for your junction box to cover it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a few bends. I'm not going to do a tutorial on how to bend the conduit. There's other videos out there you guys can watch. This is mostly just to show you how we're going to do our installation and how easy this is for you to do it yourself. Contractors charge anywhere from 6 to 10 grand to do a gate opener and a gate like this, if you want it ran in such fashion. So we'll get back to you guys shortly here after we get some of the conduit bent up, and we'll start getting it installed with the connectors. Okay guys, so we've gotten most of the boxes and the conduit ran on this. As you can see, we're just trying to get everything set up so I can just start putting the wires through everything into the control box, which will sit inside here, and then the 2 batteries will sit inside the new battery box. As you can see, we ran some conduit and did some offset bends, and that comes across here, which is clamped on either side. This wire is going to actually come in here with some nice insulation. It'll come up, go into the control box. The battery wires will come through this center conduit into here, and then this will actually come into this conduit. And if you step around the back here, and I'll get out of the way so he can get a good shot. If you look back here, this is kind of how we did this back. We did a little offset bend here, and we strapped the pipe to the thing. But yeah, now it's going to come in nicely right there, and that'll be for the solar panel wire. And then we'll get everything tied into the control box and then hook it up, and then we're ready to go. We'll put our lids back on, and then you'll see that there'll be little to no wiring or anything coming out of this package that we put together at all. So we'll go ahead and get to our next step, and then we'll show you from there. All right guys, so we got the boxes put through, and we've gotten our conduit and our solar panel put on. We're going to kind of let you guys get a close-up of this whole area so you can see how we did this. It's kind of a tedious, but just it's time consuming, but it's not hard to do all of this to make it nice. So I didn't want to film it and make it like a 3-hour video, so I just figured I'd get it ran through and show you more or less what's going on. So come on in closer here. We'll look at this first thing right here. This is the arm for the Ghost Controls kit. If you look down here, you can see the wire. I ran it through a piece of conduit, and it comes up through this offset bend. It comes up and it's right here coming out, and I'm going to run that into my control box next, which makes it easier, and then it keeps it really insulated. And I'll put some other stuff over this piece to keep that from getting weathered too. The next step was to get the solar panel. If you look up here, we've mounted the solar panel on this 4x4 post, and we've ran some conduit. Next thing would be the battery box. What we did is we took the box that comes with the existing Ghost kit itself, and we stuck it inside of our our box right here. And what we're going to do is connect these two wires to the batteries, and then the wire comes up through into this control box. Of course, we're going to run it into here and then onto the actual chip itself, plugging it in. So we'll go ahead and get these wires done next and get everything plugged in. After that, we're going to go ahead and do the zombie lock, get that ran up here too, and then we'll go ahead and give it a shot and see what it looks like. Okay guys, so we're going to just kind of go through this real quick with the wiring. This is the battery wire that's coming from the bottom column down here where we mounted the battery box at. I'm going to go ahead, it just hooks up. It's pretty self-explanatory, red to red, black to black. And the clips won't even let you hook it up wrong, so if you do, then you got issues. You're just going to put those in together. That one too, just like that. We're going to tuck it around the back of the little circuit board here, like so. And we're going to pull it through behind this little plastic thing, just like that. We don't want to give it too much tension. We want to kind of leave it where it's going to have its own little slack here. Then what I'll do is I'll tuck away this wiring and I'll come back and zip tie that up, but that's the wire for the battery. The next wire I'm going to do is the satellite wire, the solar power, I'm sorry, and that's going to go right here to these two screws. It has a little positive and negative symbol on there telling you which wire goes to what, so you can't mess it up. Plus the wires right here both have positive and negative symbols on it, so if you do mess this up, then I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and do the negative first since it's on this side. Kind of bend it up so I can get it in there. You don't want to go, you want to go up to the plastic here, but don't get the plastic in the hole itself before you start tightening the screw, because then what'll happen is you'll end up crimping the plastic up in there and you'll have a mess. So next is the power wire. Oops, guess I'm gonna have to do this kind of at the same time because I don't have a lot of room in here. So we're gonna go ahead and just loosen that a little bit. Alright, excuse the music in the background guys, but that's what I do sometimes. There we go, both of them are in there now. Now what we do is just tighten this. They give you this little screwdriver guys that comes with a kit, so that way you have the perfect one to fit these little screws on the circuit board. And then that's it for that. So that takes care of the solar wire, that takes care of the battery wire. The next wire that I'm going to do is, like I said, the gate wire, and I'm not going to be able to do the gate wire just yet until I run the lock. So I'm going to go ahead and get the zombie lock going onto the gate. We'll run the wire through the center of the gate pole and it'll come out over here, and then we'll run it along with this wire and get those final two wires put in just a moment. Okay guys, so we went ahead and added the zombie lock, ran it through the gate here as you can see, ran it into the conduit. It's on the other end of the gate down there. That's the zombie lock. It's not hooked up just yet. We're going to go ahead and wire it on this side. So what we want to do is get everything else wired too, including the gate. We're going to just run the gate wires up through here. And I know that this box looks like it's wobbling around, which it is at the current moment, but we'll take care of all that later. So we're going to go ahead and use the operator 1 port on this keypad, or I should say circuit board, and it tells you which wires to go to which one. So sometimes it's easier to get them all in there at one time. It just depends. Let me just loosen all of these. And if you notice on the bottom it says first operator, red, black, green, white. Wire through here. Shut up! Go lay down. This isn't that easy. We're in a kind of a tight spot here, so we're going to attempt to try to, I don't know if this is going to work one at a time or if I should try to get them all in there, but we'll just gently do it. Black's next. Oh, it's hard to get up in there a little bit. There we go. Okay, next is the green. Make sure that one's twisted. Yeah, it's tight, guys. There we go. one, and finally the light. So go right down in there. See, this is kind of why I don't necessarily want to have to sit there and show you guys everything, but at least get the wiring shown to you guys. So the zombie lock gate has its own little spot right here that says lock. There's 3 wires. So you got the positive, negative, and then the blue wire. We'll go ahead and get those in right away. Take the next one. And then of course the blue one, last but not least. So now you guys can see that everything that I'm going to use on this particular box is set up. You've got the first operator and the only operator, because I don't have 2 operators, so that's the arm on the gate. We have the lock, and over here is the solar panel. There's other hardware inputs and monitor safety things that you can use. What I'm going to go ahead and do is clean up this wiring, get it tucked in, and then we'll go ahead and try the gate, get it hooked, turned on, and we'll try to calibrate the opening where we want it to open and close from. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and just hook up the 2 batteries. I did use the existing battery box from the Ghost set to be able to use inside of my junction boxes, which made it kind of nice. You don't need to order nothing special. You can get these at Home Depot. I mean at Lowe's, I'm sorry. That's where I got these 2. They're like 12 by 12 boxes, I believe. So we're just hooking up the little clips, red to red, black to black, nothing special. Just like so. And we'll put that back in there, tuck it in gently. We don't want to mess up nothing. Get that tucked in like that. And now if you step back and look at both of them, what a clean setup. Everything in here, you can see we got the wiring that's going into the conduit up to here, to the back of the solar panel, the solar panel bracket. We've got conduit coming down here to these wires. This wire comes up and goes through the gate down to the latch. And then we have the lids and everything, so everything will be pretty much contained. I'm gonna open the gate and connect the arm to it, and then we'll turn it on and see if we can get it to work a little bit before the sun goes down. If not, we'll continue tomorrow on the next clip. Alright guys, excuse all the noise. We're getting to our next clip. We got a lot of people outside in the yards working locally here in the neighborhood, so you might hear other type of industrial type noises. But anyway, so we're at the next stage of our gate. We're going to do some fine adjustments here before we get the whole thing finished up and then get it calibrated and programmed to the remotes. What I wanted to point out is if you guys come and look at this thing, you can see kind of how I did this. I ran some conduit here, and then I put some of this split insulation on and some zip ties to give it a clean look, and then I added a 3/4 inch insulation over these 2 with some zip ties, and it looks nice and all. But what I found to be the issue with this is if you have pets, dogs, they love to chew. So chances are at some point in time they're going to get out here and they're going to gnaw on this. My dogs did that right away. Luckily they only chewed this plastic insulation and a couple clips. They did not damage any of the wire or the insulation for the actual gate opener or the zombie lock. So what I'm going to do today to solve this solution, and this is just a suggestion so people think ahead, this will save them a step. Unfortunately I had to take an extra step today. I'm going to use some of this stuff right here, which is just the flex tubing, which is actually indoor. But I'm not doing this for rain tight seal on the wiring. I'm only doing this because I'm going to take a couple pieces of this 3/4 and put one here and then another piece here. That way if my animals try to chew on these cables again, they won't be able to. That'll indeed seal off all the cabling, the conduit, and the rest of the system to protect it from damages. So that's where we're at right now. If you guys want to come and look over here at the control box, so the last clip you guys are watching, we were getting the control box finished wired up, and it got dark, and then we ran out of light, and the batteries weren't really charged, and the solar panel couldn't charge the batteries, so we really couldn't do anything else at that point. We've let this system sit for a few days now, and you can see that the battery condition light is on solid yellow now. It was blinking when we first hooked it up, which would indicate that the batteries were dead and not enough to actually run the system. Now the system's showing that it's fully charged and ready to go. However, I am going to go ahead and undo the gate wire and the zombie lock wire from here, and then get this steel insulation put over those two wires like we just mentioned. And then we'll get back into the next clip of the video, which is actually setting up the parameters for your gate limits, and also the auto gate close function. And then we're going to also even program a few extra remotes we have, and we'll show you how to do that. Other than that, we'll see you guys in a moment. Okay guys, I just came up with my own little solution here. I wanted something that I could put over, like I said. These steel lines are still going under this, so if they do chew past that, they're still going to have to get through this to chew on the wire. When you're putting these in, leave yourself a little bit of room, because these don't flex as much as you would like them to. But if you put these all the way up to here, as the gate's moving, the edge of this can cut into your wire. So you want to kind of more or less make sure it has a little bit of room. Get your zip ties on, and I put some final insulation over this, the wire cover, plastic stuff, and then just some zip ties to hold it on. So yeah, that's good enough for me. That'll keep my dogs done. I went ahead and wired it back up over here. So yeah, take a good look. We're gonna go ahead and get the gate opened and get the arm hooked back up. We're gonna mess with the gate limits, then we'll get the actual auto close done, and then we'll learn our remotes. Other than that, we'll take a final look over that. We'll get the keypad put on, and then we'll call it a video. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and turn this box on, and let's get the gate limit settings done first. So the on and off switch is at the bottom of your box here. That's what this little box is. On the bottom is the switch. All right, so I got the green light, the power status, battery condition, and then what we're going to do is we're going to set our gate limit. So you have job close and then job open. You want to hit job close. Now watch your gate. See how it's opening and see how it's moving really steady because it's charged. When we first tried to open it and test it, it was barely going. So we're going to get it set to the close position. Alright guys, so sorry about that small interruption. What happened was the gate didn't correctly program the previous time we had started to set this up before the batteries died because it wasn't charged enough. So it was not closing right, so I had to stop the video for a brief moment just so I could reset this, which is pretty easy. That way I could do the parameters again and make sure that the gate box is actually working correctly. So we went ahead and programmed it anyways, but come on in close. We're going to show you how you do it. So if you look at these three buttons, you've got job close, then you've got first set, and job open. So just pay attention to these two outer ones. The middle one's to finally set the setting once you get it where you want it. So with your gate completely open, and as you can look over here, the gate's closed for now. But when your gate is completely open and the arm's all the way in, you're gonna hit your job close button, which is the one right here on the right. And don't let this confuse you, it's real simple. Once your gate's completely open, you start tapping that job close button. You don't have to tap it, but you hold it and the gate's gonna start shutting, right? And as you get closer to the other post, when your gate's just about to shut, just kind of tap it a little bit and ease it in there. So when you're looking at the gate, when it's shutting, the gate's gonna start shutting, and as you get to about right here, I would say I would just start tapping it and then kind of get it in a little closer till you rest the latch in comfortably. You don't want it to slam and put a lot of pressure. If it is, you need to back off with the job close button. So those are the two buttons that you're going to use to open the gate and to gently shut it. So anyways, once you get the gate resting close, what you're going to do is you're going to come back over to your box, and then you're just going to simply hold the set button in the center down until it beeps. And that'll set the setting to close right where you have it. Then what you do is you come and you open your gate and let it completely open. And once it gets completely open, it'll beep one time to confirm that the setting has been accepted. Once that's done, that's it. Your gate's programmed to open and close. Just keep in mind that I thought that you could also not only program it how far to shut, but you could stop it where you wanted it when it's opening. That's not the case. It has to be able to just open to the full position by itself. You can only adjust it closing it. And I guess that's just how they have it. So make sure that when your gate's fully open, there's not going to be anything in your pathway here. My driveway ends right here, so I want it to kind of stop here, but in actuality it has to come directly straight with a post, so it's going to go further than the driveway line, which is fine. I don't have anything in the way, so that's just a little suggestion to keep in mind when you're doing this before you install it and find out your gate can't open all the way correctly now because there's things of your landscape that are obstructing the pathway. So yeah, and then like I said, we added this. I know we just went over that, but there it is. That's my final look, guys. I used that steel insulation, a little bit of these split insulation. I'm not sure what the exact name is. It's like flex insulation. It just kind of opens up and you can put it over the wire. Some zip ties. Came up here into the gate and I left it a little bit with slack. And in fact, this zip tie is not even tight. It's just keeping this there, so as the gate opens it can flex a little bit and nothing digs into the wires, giving it room to open without pulling out wires or doing any of that. So let me give you guys a quick view of it opening. Everything's set in place here. So what you do on the remote here, if you look closely before we actually open it, this is going to be for your one gate. If you have a dual gate system, then you'll be using this button. Otherwise, don't pay attention to that button. You have test, learn, and party mode. You can get into party mode. I'm not going to do that in this video. If you guys are interested in getting that, I would just look at your directions and it's pretty easy to set party mode up. But so we'll just hit this button. The gate's going to open all the way. What happens when you do start to open the gate, the latch will unlock. You'll hear it, and then it'll open all of this, all of the distance till it's completely open. Now when we go to shut the gate, it's going to completely shut, and as it almost gets ready to close all the way, the gate will slow itself down, rest up easy against the latch, and then you'll hear the lock, the zombie lock, lock completely. So let's try it out and just listen carefully. All right, so there it goes. Last thing we'll do to this gate is we'll touch up our little welding spots where we welded the fencing up there in the beginning of this video. So you see how it slows down, and that's it. So now if you can see what I'm talking about, guys, when I was explaining to you about having to let it open versus wanting to stop it more or less at your driveway line. My driveway line's where the gravel is, and I put steel edging there to give it a clean look. But unfortunately, the gate's going to open to this position all the way. And your arm over here should look like this when it's completely open. The cylinder here should be all the way in, right up to the seam there. It shouldn't be sticking out a little bit. If not, you might have an issue and have to reset this. And then you can see the wiring there. Everything kind of flexes a little bit there, but it's nothing that's putting any bad tension to where it's going to cut. And if the dogs chew on it, they're going to chew on metal. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. Let's go over to the latch now. As I close it, we'll watch the gate shut and we'll listen for the latch to lock. Come on this way. Just to hit one of my little lights here. Got my little solar panel lights I put up on top of the 4x4 post, which are really nice. Just gotta lock them in place once you get done. There's a bird on there, as obviously he took a deuce. But anyway, all right guys, so come right about here, and I want you to focus on that latch. And actually, let's get you back over here. I'm sorry, I'm gonna play Simon Says here, but that way you can get the latch trying to open right as it slows down. As the gate shuts, make sure you just kind of get it right as it goes to shut, a clear view of this position. But here we go. All right guys, now if you focus on the latch over that way, you may see it actually go in, the little silver part of the lock. And that's right before it gets to the gate here, or you'll hear it. Hear that? See? Now it's resting. It's going to bump up, you'll hear it lock. And there it is, it's locked. So now you can see that's locked. There's a little bit of play, which is great because the gate bounces slightly as it's shutting. But it's got a little bit of pressure, I can feel it, just to keep it firm. And the lock's on it. And that's it, guys. So now you can see through the whole system what we've done. And this is the last overall thing we're going to do before we call it the video. We went ahead and did the gate, went ahead and welded our wire onto it. We've gotten the gate power station, and I'm calling this my power station, my Ghost Controls power station. We went ahead and added all of this in, some junction boxes, some conduit. We made it really nice. I'm sure if someone was wanting an installation done, they would want it to look like this. It just protects everything. The wires are going to be all in here out of the sun, out of the freezing weather, out of the rain, and away from rodents and animals that may try to damage it. Now, if you look over this way, we're going to go ahead and get to our next clip, which is actually putting the keypad onto the post with the arm that we added to it. Hey guys, so we've got the Ghost Controls wireless keypad, and it takes two double not double, but 2 C batteries. So you're going to want a set of those. We'll go ahead and get this out of the package and get the screws out. We're going to add it to the keypad, and then we're going to try to sync it up, and we'll see how it works. All right, guys, so keypad. So I'm not going to show you how to program it because the instructions clearly say that if certain lights appear, you'll use those instructions, but if they don't, depending on the system you have, it'll tell you to refer to the second manual that comes with this. So I'm gonna leave the instructions up to you guys to read, but I will show you how easy it is to put these on. Pedestal arm was mounted to a 4x4 steel post with a black cap we added. This post is not wood, so figured if it's outside the yard and something bumps into it, or you know, whatever the case may be, it might last a little bit longer than if I use a wood one. So that's why we went with a metal one out here. Take these 2 screws out. There's just 2 little Phillips head screws. Once you do that, you're gonna pull this out kind of like this, and then it slides out like that, and you can see that's the slot for the 2 C batteries, and that's as simple as it gets, guys. So basically you're just gonna take the screws that come with it, put them up to the hole, put your batteries in, and then this is just gonna slide back on. Give us just a second and we'll grab the screws. Okay guys, 4 screws that come with it, Phillips heads. They're gonna go into these 4 holes, into these 4 holes on the pedestal. They're already designed to take the screws that come with the keypad, so you don't have to drill these out supposedly. We'll see right now. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, but take your time, no rush. This might be so just get one in there. Always start with one, don't tighten it all the way, then come back over here and see what I mean. If you tighten that first one too tight, then what happens is you can't adjust the box to get the second hole lined up right. So you have to push a little bit so it gets, once it starts through that metal, it opens that hole up completely. So that's why I said you don't need to drill anything. Ease it up, don't crack the box. If you tighten it too hard, this screw is just going to crack the back of the box. Always when you're tightening something, just give it some full force at first, and right when you get into the end, just ease it up. Depends on what you're doing. I'm sure there's cases where you're going to want to really tighten it, but on some like this little plastic box, that's it. C batteries are in there, so just going to take that, stick that back in there like so, and look how easy that is. So anyone can pull this out and then get it out of there. That's kind of the downfall of this system is, but if someone steals the keypad, they're really cheap. So oops. All right, so we'll go ahead and get it programmed and we'll try it out. Okay guys, I'm pretty sure I got it programmed. You know, you've got to do some steps according to your directions, and you're going to be holding the remote up here to actually hit the button, and should have programmed it. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the gate. I'm going to hit the buttons. I don't want my code being handed out on live YouTube, so I'll go ahead and just hit the buttons and let's see if it's going to close. There it is. So now you can see that I didn't use the remote, I used the keypad. So not only do I have a regular code programmed, which is the master code, but I also have a guest code, and that way my guests can use that. As far as my primary code goes, that'll be only for the immediate family. Okay guys, so I have a little timer here on my phone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish programming it. Since we've gotten the keypad, the gate, and then the gate limit settings done, we're going to go ahead and set the auto close now. That's what this little button is right up here at the top. It says it right under it, auto close. So yeah, you'll want to hold this button down until it beeps, and then it's going to start blinking. Each blink represents 1 second. You can either count the blinks up to the amount of time that you want, up to 1 hour before it'll close, and then you'll be hitting the button one more time and it'll beep again, confirming that it's accepted your programming. Or you can just set up a stopwatch, figure out how many seconds you think you're gonna wanna set it for, and then push this button, start your stopwatch, and then push it again when you're done at the amount of time you want it to stay open, or before it closes. So let's try that. There it goes. So I'll go ahead and start it. I want 25 seconds just to be safe. I have vehicles pulling in and I have dogs. That'll give the car enough time to pull up, and I'm sure the dogs are going to get used to this to where they'll move out of the clearance of the gate as it shuts. They're not stupid. Otherwise, it'll give enough time for someone to tell the dogs to move. So at 25 seconds, I'm just gonna hold the button. There it is, 25. And there it is. So that's how you work that. So now what'll happen is I'll open the gate and pull in, and then after 25 seconds, the gate will just shut by itself. So you can see that the auto close button is now illuminated to full solid green. It's not blinking or anything. Battery's still good. And just so you guys know, I didn't mention this earlier, but if you're looking at this blinking green power status light, don't let it fool you into thinking something's wrong. Just read your instructions. They do say that if you're going to use solar power to power your batteries or to power your power box, then it's going to blink for solar. If you use AC, then this light will stay solid green if you have it plugged directly into an outlet. So that's all that means, is that we're using solar power instead of AC. All right guys, cut right in front of you like that. But yeah, so we're done. We already got everything programmed. Once again, we wanted to show you guys how we were going to get this lid on, because it doesn't pop on straight. It has to slide on from the top of your control box. So if you only use that one bolt, which makes it handy because you don't have to take out all these 4 screws, and there's some touchy areas in here with wires coming down, so you don't want to be having to go in there each time and risk bending or putting pressure or breaking the soldering. Just take that out for just a second, and look, you can slide your box out gently just like that. And guys, this doesn't take very much. Just when you're putting your fingers over this to hold it, try not to hit the wires. Hold it like that. You're just going to slide this right on over, take that bolt out. You're just going to go and put your bolt right back in. You're just going to make sure though that you're careful of these wires when you put it back in. You don't want to mess anything up. So right like that. There it is. And that's it, guys. And that just sits in there a little bit like that, but there it is. We'll go ahead and put the front on, and voila. Alright guys, so I know that you guys would at least like to see this thing open and auto close. Let me go ahead and get this thing on its way open. Just using the regular transmitter remote. So you can hear it's pretty quiet. It opens up pretty smoothly. You heard that little click and stuff. That's not the gate flexing when it's opening. That's just simply the zombie lock unlatching, and then it relocks itself as it's finishing opening. So I did set this gate to stay open for 25 seconds, which I do find to be a bit long, even if you're pulling a trailer in behind a truck. The only reason I say that is because I have dogs, so there's a point where they could be running out of the yard as I've already pulled in right now, so keep that in mind. Probably 10 to 15 seconds is going to be a little bit more appropriate than 25. But yeah, everything's in. And like I said, I apologize guys earlier in the clips for the scene where I was trying to show you the open and close gate settings. The gate kind of stopped because we had a little malfunction, but like I explained how to do it, it's really simple. It's in your instructions, so check your instructions out. And here the latch, it unlocks, shuts, and it locks again. Watch. There it is. So yeah, zombie lock system's working great. The gate opens, it responds after 25 seconds, the gate moves smooth. I got about 4 to 6 off the ground, enough to keep the dogs in. Yeah, so everything came out nice. Keypad down there, put a little tiny border of cement around it just to give it a little bit of personality. Just making sure we get all of our insulation on here the way I wanted to design it to protect it from the dogs. Pretty clean installation.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to Review It TV. Appreciate all of my subscribers already. I appreciate anyone who's just first time tuner for today watching this video. I hope I was able to explain some of the stuff. There's probably a couple things we didn't cover, but they're probably going to be in your manual. This is how I wanted my setup to look. I think it came out pretty nice with this particular power station going on. We are doing other videos, guys. I know of all of you subscribers that are tuning in a lot for the Maverick X3 side-by-side videos. There's plenty of those still coming. We've got just a whole different network of things coming. We took kind of a few weeks to get some projects done If you look over here, you can see we've been building fences on both sides. If you look over to that side, you can see there's another fence built on that side. And then of course, we wanted to get this gate put in. So now we can focus on some more videos, get some knocked out sooner than later. But for now, that's all we're gonna do, guys. Remember, Ghost Control's gate kit. I'll leave some links of some information about it in the description box below. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in to Review It TV. We'll see you guys next time.